Today is August 12th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It's a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we're going to read Chapter 3, More About Alcoholism, page 32. And out of the 12 and 12, we're going to be continuing our journey through Step 5 by reading page 59. And of course, we'll be reading today's daily reflections in 24 hours a day. So with that, hope y'all are doing well today, my friends. We've been given another set of 24 hours. That is always a good thing. Always. We get a clean slate, and we have the opportunity to live a life of integrity today. One moment at a time. So with that, let's get to the good stuff. At the Big Book, we're on Chapter 3, More About Alcoholism. We're on page 32. Though there is no way of proving it, we believe that early in our drinking careers, most of us could have stopped drinking. But the difficulty is that few alcoholics have enough desire to stop while there's still yet time. We have heard of a few instances where people who showed definite signs of alcoholism were able to stop for a long period because of an overpowering desire to do so. Here's one. A man of 30 was doing a great deal of spree drinking. He was very nervous in the morning after these bouts and quieted himself with more liquor. He was ambitious to succeed in business, but saw that he would get nowhere if he drank at all. Once he started, he had no control whatever. He made up his mind that until he had been successful in business and had retired, he would not touch another drop. An exceptional man, he remained bone dry for 25 years and retired at the age of 55 after a successful and happy business career. Then he fell victim to a belief which practically every alcoholic has, that his long period of sobriety and self-discipline had qualified him to drink as other men. Out came his carpet slippers and a bottle. In 2 months he was in the hospital, puzzled and humiliated. He tried to regulate his drinking for a while, making several trips to the hospital meantime. Then, gathering all of his forces, he attempted to stop altogether and found that he could not. Every means of solving his problem which money could buy was at his disposal. Every attempt failed. Though a robust man of retirement, he went to pieces quickly and was dead within 4 years. All right, my friends, moving over to the 12 and 12, we're on Step 5. Admit to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. We're on page 59 today. Actually, starting at the bottom of page 58. More realism, and therefore more honesty about ourselves, are the great gains that we make under the influence of Step 5. As we took inventory, we began to suspect how much trouble self-delusion had been causing us. This brought about a disturbing reflection. If all our lives we had more or less fooled ourselves, how could we be now so sure that we weren't still self-deceived? How could we be certain that we had made a true catalog of our defects and had really admitted them, even to ourselves? Because we are still bothered by fear, self-pity, and hurt feelings, it was probable that we couldn't appraise ourselves fairly at all. Too much guilt and remorse might cause us to dramatize and exaggerate our shortcomings. Or anger and hurt pride might be the smokescreen under which we were hiding some of our defects while we blamed others for them. Possibly, too, we were still handicapped by many liabilities, great and small, that we never knew we had. Hence, it was most evident that a solitary self-appraisal and the admission of our defects based upon that alone wouldn't be nearly enough. We'd have to have outside help if we were to surely know and admit the truth about ourselves. The help of God and another human being. Only by discussing ourselves, holding back nothing, only by being willing to take the advice and accept direction, could we set foot on the road to straight thinking, solid honesty, and genuine humility. Yet many of us still hung back. We said, why can't God as we understand Him tell us where we went astray? If the Creator gave us our lives in the first place, then He must know in every detail where we have since gone wrong. Why don't we make our admissions to Him directly? Why do we need to bring anyone else into this? At this stage, the difficulties of trying to deal rightly with God by ourselves are twofold. Though we may at first be startled to realize that God knows all about us, we are apt to get used to that quite quickly. Somehow being alone with God doesn't seem as embarrassing as facing up to another person. Until we actually sit down and talk aloud about what we have so long hidden. Our willingness to clean house is still largely theoretical. When we are honest with another person, it confirms that we've been honest with ourselves and with God. Daily Reflection, August 12th. A look backward. First, we take a look backward and try to discover where we have been at fault. Next, we make a vigorous attempt to repair the damage that we've done. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 77. As a traveler on a fresh and exciting AA journey of recovery, I've experienced a newfound peace of mind, and the horizon appeared clear and bright, rather than obscure and dim. Reviewing my life to discover where I had been at fault seemed to be such an arduous and dangerous task. It was painful to pause and look backward. I was afraid I might stumble. Couldn't I put the past out of my mind and just live my new golden present? I realized that those in the past whom I had harmed stood between me and my desire to continue my movement towards serenity. I had to ask for courage to face those persons from my life who still lived in my conscience, to recognize and deal with the guilt that their presence had produced in me. I had to look at the damage that I had done and become willing to make those amends. Only then could my journey of spirit resume. All right, my friends, so I need to apologize. I believe yesterday, by mistake, I read the August 12th 24 hours a day entry. Actually, peek behind the curtain, I actually recorded the whole entry. I was like, wait a minute, I've read this yesterday. So I must have accidentally skipped August 11th, so we'll jump into that today if you don't mind. Although it was probably, meant for me to read that August 12th one again. All right, so we'll do the 24 hours a day, August 11th entry, even though today's August 12th. AA thought for the day. While alcoholics keep strictly away from drink, they react to life much like other people. But the first drink sets the terrible cycle in motion. Alcoholics usually have no idea why they take the first drink. Some drinkers have excuses with which they're satisfied, but in their hearts they really do not know why they do it. The truth is that at some point in their drinking, they have passed into a state where the most powerful desire to stop drinking is of no avail. Am I satisfied that I have passed my tolerance point for alcohol? Meditation for the day. He who made the ordered world out of chaos and set the stars in their courses and made each plant to know its season. He can bring peace and order out of your private chaos if you will let him. God is watching over you too, to bless you and care for you. Out of the darkness, He is leading you to light. Out of unrest to rest. Out of disorder to order. Out of faults and failure to success. You belong to God, and your affairs are His affairs and can be ordered by Him if you are willing. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may be led out of disorder into order. I pray that I may be led out of failure into success. That concludes our reading today. And wow, reading this 24 hours a day entry. I guess I was meant to read the 11th entry today instead of the 12th. I pray that I may be led out of disorder into order. I pray that I may be led out of failure into success. When I was a kid, a lot of times I would sit outside on that bench. I've said this many times in Gloucester City, and I'd stare out at Newton Creek. And a lot of times I would just kind of sit there and just think or not think at all. But every now and then I would go out at night as well and just sit out there for a few minutes. And if I wasn't looking at the creek or hearing the trees, kind of rustle in the wind, oftentimes I was looking up at the sky and then the stars and everything. And while I didn't understand this whole God thing, part of me was still looking at the world with this sense of awe and wonder. And I would think to myself, as a lot of times as a kid, where did all this come from? How absurd is it that we're on the spinning rock, spinning around the sun, on this perfect angle to where we can have seasons, and it's just all the science, and to me just confirms that and this is just me, that there's some sort of creator. And the reason I bring that up is, just like this entry says, if he creates all this, he who made the ordered world out of chaos and sets the stars in their courses, and made each plant to know its season, he can bring peace and order out of my private chaos, if I will let him. God is watching over me too, to bless me and care for me. Out of the darkness, he is leading me to light. Out of unrest to rest. Out of disorder to order. Out of our faults and failures to success. I'm replacing you with I here. I don't want to preach to anybody. I belong to God, and my affairs are his affairs and can be ordered by him if I am willing. It's right here, right in front of me if I'm willing. And all I have to do is examine my life in sobriety today, and I realize that I'm a miracle. Just like this creation of this world, man, I am a miracle just to be alive today. And then when I go to the fellowships and I see others around me, I see miracles. It blows my mind. It's right in front of me if I'm willing to see it. And my friend, if you're sober today, you're a miracle. And if you're not sober today, you're still a miracle. Just to be alive is a miracle. And you have the opportunity to change your life today. Whatever that might look like. Maybe it's joining a fellowship, hearing the wisdom of others, reading through the big book, or whatever you need to do to change. You have an opportunity today to take that first step toward a brand new life. And I know it sounds like I'm exaggerating it, but it really is a brand new life. And I hope that that works out for you today. Let's not worry about the next 20 years. Let's not worry about the last 20 years. Let's focus on today. Just this set of 24 hours. But my friends, if we are given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.